There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get books. My success to you, even if you wish me the opposite. Sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is. We are here at Natural November in May, South London in the summertime, and I'm Iemhotep and Ankh. Here we have a young lady, Sacha Brown, is it?
Yes,
and Sacha is here to tell us about her charity for females, or for each and everyone, Sacha?
Well, it was founded by and for women of the diaspora, of the African diaspora, but the charity is for the black family in general, but with women at the forefront. It makes a change, because I think that we have to kind of reinstate that feminine principle. I think that the reason why society is off balance is because we don't respect the feminine principle. So that's why I feel that it's imperative to have the women lead and the men actually protecting the women from a distance.
You're quite right there, Sacha. Yeah? In Africa we had a matriarchal society, not a patriarchal society like you find in Europe. Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the charity that you've come to inform everyone about.
Okay, well, basically I was born in London, in South London. My parents are Jamaican and St. Lucian, so Caribbean heritage. And growing up in the Caribbean, my mum sent me over there from the age of 7 to 14. So basically I had the opportunity to really digest the culture of the Caribbean. And while I was there, the things that I experienced, for example, the shadism issue, I remember being in class one time, and the teacher paid more attention to one of the white girls, who is a minority in the country, as you know, very mixed the Caribbean is, but she paid more attention to the white child than she did me, and that really stayed with me. You know, even my gran, for example, she used to say things like, if you press your nose like this, that basically you get a straight nose. And my hair was relaxed from very early, from like about 11 years old. So those things had a significant impact on how I felt about myself. And when I came back to England at the age of 14, went through all the things that you'd expect from a teenager, and I had my daughter, who's here with me today, Ebony, at the age of 18. And I think it's basically everything that I had personally experienced. I also recently, about a month ago, received an award, which I'm very thankful for, from the Nation of Islam for activism. So it's a number of things that happened to me, which would include rape in our community. It's a very sensitive issue. A lot of people don't actually talk about it, and I think I'm probably one of a few people that's come out and said, you know what, this has happened to me, and I'm not going to hold on to that shame anymore. It wasn't my fault, and it took me a long time, to deal with those issues within myself, and it affected the way that I felt about myself. It affected the way that I related to men. I became very frivolous, in my early 20s. Obviously learned from all those experiences, and I thought, I need to do something, because we're not talking about these issues, and I'm really fed up of, it being swept under the carpet. We can't do that no more. We really have to pay attention to what's going on in our homes. So it started off as Brown Girl Promotion, because I work within media. Just want to say a shout out to Mellow 9 Productions, which is Adrian Scott, who founded Mellow 9 Productions. They've given me opportunities as well to present and things like that. So basically, when I was working within the media, had a record deal at the age of 21, flew to Germany, and things of that nature was discovered. So I realized not only, did I feel less attractive, I realized that the reason for this is because the images that we see on television, as everybody knows now, they're always of a certain hue, a certain kind of complexion. They always have a long straight hair, or they have to be kind of Latina looking rather than being just black.
So your charity kind of tackles the taboo subjects that people don't really want to talk about within our communities at this present time, yeah, and the name of the charity that you're putting forward or you bring forth that tackles it?
Yeah, the name of the charity is called theempressmovement.org. You can find us online. Thank you.
The Empress Movement. I like that.
Thank you very much. My parents are Rastafarian, so that's something that's really important for me. Those belief systems, I integrate that into the Empress Movement also. But it's for everybody, because I feel that we have to move away from religion. So even though it's called the Empress Movement, and we as a black community will automatically associate that with Rasta, we're all, Empress, as far as I'm concerned. You don't have to be, a Rastafarian for you to be part of the Empress Movement, So yeah, it started as BGP, as I was saying, which stood for Brown Girl Promotion, and it evolved into the Empress Movement. BGP was more for bringing us to the forefront within the media, because there was a lack of representation of black women within the media within Britain. And last year we said, okay, myself, my friend Prima and Zakia, we got together and said, yeah, this is what we're going to do. So the empressmovement.org was born. So,
That's great. So the Empress Movement is now here.
Yes.
What's the next project finally you'll be undertaking with the Empress Movement to get the word, get the message, raise the consciousness? What you want to raise?
Wow, we have so many things going on. For example, we have the TEM Womb Wisdom, which is that women get together. We do African dance. We learn about manifesting through the womb, because we only learn about the womb when we're giving birth, and we have to realize that there's more to the womb than just having a child. Well, not just, because that is a huge thing. That's giving life, but there's more to it. To love with our wombs. There's so much that we can manifest using womb wisdom. So we have the Womb Wisdom project. We also have the schools project. So we go into schools and we talk not only to to people who look like us. We talk to everybody in order to get the lines of communication going. To open up a dialogue between us and other races. Allow the other people from other cultures to ask us questions that are sensitive, and they may not want to ask that to just another person on the street. So that's called the TEM Schools project. So there are a number of projects going on under the umbrella of the Empress Movement. So please, I'll just want to reach out to my people and say, what, even if it's a pound, I mean, we're 3% of the population or whatever it is now. I think it's definitely growing, but even if it's £1, that's going to make a difference, and that will allow me to counsel. I'm studying to become a therapeutic counsellor. I also went to Roehampton University to study human rights, so I'm well versed, So £1 will help us so much with our projects to help young women and their families, not just the women. It's about us as a community, us as the black family, ultimately the African family.
And it's empressmovement.org.
The THE empressmovement.org.
Okay, this is GKTV. You got myself, the minister, representing up in the building. We are at Natural November. GKTV, we just get around. That's how we do. We're here with a young lady right now. Now, I've had the pleasure of meeting this young lady before. She's brought up with a young man. Is he a young man? I don't know. He's gonna pass to the young man. He came up to the studio on Supreme FM to talk about an event, what was coming up, the young people's event. But within herself, she is a quite distinguished poet. Okay, so we're going to come and talk to this young lady about her poetry, and basically what you do with your poetry and how you inspire people with your poetry. Then you're going to give us a sample of your poetry. I know when I say she's been waiting behind that camera to get on and do this point. Firstly, let's give people your name and your age.
My name is Santos and I'm 21.
Santos, 21 years old. See, I remember the name. I remember you from the radio show. You did do your poetry.
I didn't.
You didn't. No, the big man never let you. Yeah. But anyway, we'll skip past that. You do poetry. Okay. What inspired you to do the poetry?
One thing that inspired me was that I felt that I grew up quite suppressed and my voice was never heard. So in school that I saw a lot of injustice happening, and I saw that whenever I spoke, people listened, and that encouraged me to speak out more. And I realized that there was also a rhyme to my speech, and I was like, oh, I'm a poet, okay. That's right.
Okay, so how long have you realized, because what we often say, but everybody has a talent. Everybody has a talent, from the most quiet and shyest person in the school, but everyone's got a hidden talent. It's just finding it, and you found your talent in poetry. At what point, at what age was you when you discovered that?
I was about 16, And that's when I put on a poetry performance, and not much teachers in the school liked me. And when I put on this poetry reading where they just had to come and listen to myself speak, and a lot of them just dropped into tears, and then the way that they respected me after that point was different, and I realized there was a lot of power beyond my speech, and I was just like, yeah, this is something I've got to continue.
So what was it in regards to, because obviously your life's experiences are the things that then come out during your poetry. What was it before that point at 16? You know, you said it was very difficult for you at school, the teachers, they didn't like you. What was it, do you think, about yourself or about others where you was having this difficulty? Because no doubt you're not alone in that which you go for. So I'm really asking you this on behalf to others who might be watching this and, you know, kind of maybe able to resonate with what you was going through. What was it you was going through?
What I was going through, I grew up in a house where my father was like never home, and I was being abused by my stepmother. So like I grew up quite quiet, and I felt like a lot of power got taken away from me. So when I was in school, I would always like rebel, just so to show that I still have power to do what I want. And that came out in a lot of my behaviors in terms of always being angry, never really talking. I always had my hood on. And I just felt very shut off from the world. Whereas when I started to do poetry, I started to open myself more and open up my mind and just start to see things for what they really was. Yeah.
Do you find that your experiences are shared amongst more people when people would think? You know, especially when we see like young black people, both male and female, the behaviours, the carryings on. Do you think that a lot of these issues or similar type issues is what a lot of these young people are carrying?
I think most definitely. I do work with young people, and I see that in the UK, it's like there's a lot of young people that are going through a slight depression, and a lot of them are going through things, and you see that in their behaviour, in terms of a lot of them, they're not in schools, or they're going just for like one lesson, and a lot of girls are really, they're becoming attention seekers, and just through their behaviour you see that a lot of children are going through things that some of our elders never went through, and it's just that the oppression is getting deeper. So yeah.
Okay, and the reason I asked that is we interviewed Aleem Kamara. He's a spoken word poet, storyteller, so on and so forth. But when we spoke with him, he said the same thing. When I asked him the question, he said he was a voice for those who want to scream but they can't. You know, and when the question I asked him is, what is it they're screaming about? I mean, we just posted this just a few days ago up on Facebook, so do look out for that, the interview we done with Aleem Kamara. But he mentioned that, you know, but I asked him, well, what is the scream? And he said, but the sound that he's hearing is love. That's what they're screaming for. Would you, as a young person, would you identify with that?
Most definitely. Even myself, that I go through phases, I'm just like, I feel like I'm here alone. And I feel that a lot of young people feel that no one understands what they're going through, so they keep it in. They're coming out with a lot of like coping mechanisms, like drugs, a lot of promiscuity, a lot of just stuff to actually take them away from what's actually going on for them. So yeah.
Before we move on, I'm going to pass you over to the mic. You're going to give the people out there, you're going to give the people some of your poetry, your beautiful words. And yeah, just do your thing, my sister, do your thing.
Yeah. This is a piece that I wrote when I was about 16, and it's called You Know My Name and Not My Story. See, God forbid the day that I lose control, I crack. I sit back, kick back, sipping Hennessy, trying to burn off that pain that I won't even wish on my worst enemy. The joy of the sun, the depth of the wind, the misguided truth, the anger within. Are children innocent, or are adults cursed? Have you ever wondered what is your life worth? We have been blessed with free will, license to kill. So in essence, we are not promised our next meal. So I live circumspectly. Sin discomforts me. My life is an act, stage performance. Mummy said she's coming back. 17 years she's been stalling, she could be dead. 17 years I've been mourning. There's no strength for me, there's no time for yawning. Humanity has raped out my innocence. I've cried so many tears, I've seen a light. I am a visionist. There's no man made for me, I'm non-existent. You can call me twisted, you couldn't hack my situation. Saban Mori, because you know my name and not my story. Thank you.
My sister, I'd love to thank you for that. And, you know, to see the beauty of our young people in it, and that scream you're talking about, that lack of love, how do we as, I'm going to ask one more question for him, it's one more question. What can we do as elders? Come here, I'm not that old, by the way, this is wisdom and a few dodgy relationships, yeah? But what do you think as a younger person that the elders could do to assist you who may not be aware of what actually goes on? What do you think we should do more on our part?
I think just literally lead by example and just be truthful at where you're at and where you're going. And it's all right to like do mistakes. Like, we're not perfect, but that's all in conversation. So instead of like adults, like they don't say much to us. Whereas if there's a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue, then there'll be a lot of young people that understand what's going on and how we can both be of benefit and help to each other. So yeah.
Okay, you've heard it there from a young person's mouth, and know that you're going to hear a lot more very, very similar stuff. Because one thing about our beautiful young people, what's going on for them is across the board, you know. So it's our job as adults, if you're over a certain demographic and you've got your young people around them, listen in it, spend that time and just listen in it. I try to have that relationship with my oldest son, just like, but it does seem like I'm talking to someone on another planet sometimes. But we've all, from when he was young, we've always had that kind of conversation in it. But I have to get on him, like get a job in it, like get to work or do something, get some dough in the house in it. But I will support him. No, I support him on his thing. I will support him in it. Right? But my thing is, if you're going to do your thing, stop half stepping with it. Do it. I can only support you if you're really about it. You can't say you're about it and you do something else. It leads to confusion. Yeah, let me help you with a plan in it. I've got the wisdom. I know what I'm doing in it. But at the same time, you've got the youth, the virility. Let's work together in it. And this is what we've got to do as relationships. Work together. You know, males, females, elders, youngers, the whole shenanigan. My sister, thank you very much. Have an enjoyable life, and you know, just keep that raw food going. I hope that's your new diet. That chicken it not too much still. All right, my sister. Thank you very much. You take care. My pleasure. Okay. You see that? It was all nice up to later. Yeah. All right. Okay, we're here at Natural November, GKTV. We're back down here again. You know, one thing I can say about GKT, they're everywhere at the moment. I've got people coming up to me saying, look, I'm seeing them all over social media and seeing them all over Facebook. You're out there doing your thing, and that's right. We are out here just trying to get the message, convey the importance of Nubian and black media. But it's not just Nubian and black media that we are talking about. There would be no media without content. And this is where content comes into play. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Got Kush, but in the acronym for Kush, K-U-S-H, the H stands for health. Okay, we're going to be getting into that a little bit later on. You're going to be seeing a lot more about that. But when it comes to health, we have one of the most prominent speakers in regards to health at the moment. He's currently coming out of Jamaica, but he's UK born, but he has that Jamaican twang. But he's over here now in the UK. His name is Khensu Iemhotep. Welcome, Khensu.
Yes, greetings.
Okay. Khensu has got something over in Jamaica at the moment called the Melanin Clinic. Okay, we'll give you a little bit more information on that right now. But as a speaker, he is a very prolific speaker. I'm talking about making health, which can seem such a complex subject, especially when you get into the science of it, into something so simple. When I say layman's terms, yeah, just like you studied under
Dr. Laila Africa.
Okay, and just like the way Dr. Laila Africa would break it down and give you those layman's terms, exactly what this young brother is doing right here, and especially with the Melanin Clinic. But that's more than enough for me right now. Let's get to the man. You're over here in the UK. You're doing a tour at the moment. You've done several events. But in regards to the health, what would you say before we even do that, why health?
Why health? Why not health? I mean, health, you know, every principle in life sits on health. You understand? So health is the foundation, it's the fundamental principle of life. You know, when they say health is your first and greatest wealth, that's, you know, that goes without saying. So for me, you know, I came into this by way of real food. I say real food, they call raw food, you know, live food. That's how I came in. And in realizing that that was a premise, or that was a industry or an arena that needed overhauling, it needed turning upside down on its head. And so I did, with the guidance of a great teacher known as Dr. Aris, and I took it from there.
Okay, so so you started off going down the raw food route. Now, obviously, many people look at raw food and think, well, how could that be appetizing? How could that be tasty? But I mean, the many dishes, even with the brother out there who's got the raw going on, when that food is combined right, you don't think of anything else. And also, I noticed when you're eating the raw food, you don't have to eat as much of it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You have in your brain, in your hypothalamus gland, you have a thing called an apostat. It's like the thermostat, which it measures the level of nutrients in your brain or in your body that you're consuming. So you and I you may sit down and eat a big food of white rice, dumpling and chicken and so forth, and I may sit down and eat a salad. But my apostat would be full. The gauge would reach to the highest degree before yours. You may have to eat 2 of those plates of food to equal my small plate of salad because of the nutrient level in the salad. And that's what it's about, nutrients. So they say phytonutrients, which just means small, it just means small nutrients or minerals, so it's all about the nutrients. That is what is nourished us. I have a saying, it says, you were made with nutrients and only nutrients will maintain and repair you. Only.
You just said that to me. You just said that to me on the camera. Can you say that to the people?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you were made with nutrients, and only nutrients will maintain and repair you.
Okay, so you've heard that there. So definitely look into the raw food. We're going to be speaking to our brother a little bit later in regards to the raw food movement. Okay, so you started off in the raw food. What was your next step on the journey? You said you spoke about one of your teachers, but what was the next step on your journey to actually take you to the point where you actually now run your own business in regards to health?
Yes. Well, from there I start, the interest, into minerals and vitamins and so forth, and the whole food thing began to increase, and that led me to a great teacher, Dr. Laila Africa, and there I embraced his teachings and, took a few courses and studied under him for a while, and there became certified, and from there I established a melanin clinic in Jamaica. That was 2012 in Jamaica, Mandeville. We have offices in Kingston, or we have an office in Kingston. We also operate in Montego Bay also. You see, so it's really when we say holistic health, you see, people need to understand what holistic, this word holistic is flying around. It's a big name, big fad nowadays. But when you take your time to understand what holistic really means, it takes it to another level. And I'll just to be brief here, because when you say whole, you're saying complete, all encompassing. That means that, we say spirit, mind, body, emotion, but then we also say the past, your present, your future, your environment. You see what I'm saying? Your social circles. All of these things have to be taken into account to make it truly holistic. Otherwise, it's non-holistic. You see? Because life is holistic. This is what we must understand. Life is holistic. So, you can't, if you're cutting short of holism, then you're cutting short in life. And that's where we have been as a people, which I call this death cycle that we're in. This is what's happening. So when an individual is sitting down with a doctor, and he has an ailment, that doctor should be taking into account his past, his present, and his future. Because why? Because his past has a great bearing on the fact that he's now sitting down with a disease. So to be holistic, maybe you should address that. Maybe you should address his whole anatomical structure, meaning his melanin content. You see, meaning, because the melanin content goes back again, what we're talking about, the nutrients. So when we said about nutrients, your melanin content, the larger or the higher your melanin content, the larger your nutrient density. And look what we just said about nutrients. You see, so it's crucial to really understand the whole anatomical structure, the past, your connection to nature. You see, because as the genes get weaker, the melanin gets lighter or it reduces, therefore your connection to nature also reduces. You see, and these things should be, under true holistic health, these things should be taken into account.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've just heard that, and you need to understand there. I've known this brother for many years, and you can give him something. When I say the man will nyam it, and you can see with the health. I mean, in your whole years of studies, I know you've been studying many things for many years. This is a very small part in that big long journey that you've taken. Yet, the level of which you've taken it is.
Everything kind of snowballs into one. You see, everything snowballs into one, and got to right, and that's the key, because that's why holistic. So you can't, how can I leave any of my past out of this? You see what I'm saying? It all has to come into this because holistic health, because health is an aligned spirit, you see, a sound mind, you see, balanced emotions, and therefore you have a healthy body. You see what I'm saying? So all has to come into it.
Okay, so you're going to be over here for a hot period, and no doubt, I know you'll be jumping back and forth. You've got business to take care. No doubt, clients waiting for you back in the sun. But obviously, you're now trying to establish yourself back over here in regards, and maybe bring the melanin clinic over here. This is something you're working on currently, yeah?
That's right, yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, because it's been 2 years since I left here, which the reason why I didn't come back, I left it so long, was been establishing a radio program over there, yeah, on Best FM, which is called Naturally Holistic. So we've been working on that. So, you know, I got it to a stage where I was able to leave it for some running on pre-recordings and so forth. You know, so yes, we definitely now want to keep it very frequent, you know, back and forth. And we're branching out, you know, we're branching out to the other Caribbean islands as well, you see?
Well, I mean, this is something definitely the UK needs. In regards to the health, you know, do make sure you check it out. As we said on the acronym got Kush, the H in the word Kush is for health, so you'll be seeing a lot more of these health professionals, okay? But in regards to yourself, obviously you're branching over here. How far are you trying to take that which you do? Are you on a healing mission as you speak? In regards to changing the lifestyles of your people and people in general?
Yes, because it is people in general, but we know that, you know, as an African, you know, and we know that when you look at the disease, you see that the Africans are at a disproportionate rate out there. So, you know, there has to be a focus, a concentration on that issue. But yes, it's about, you know, like going back, it's about healing the people holistically. You see, it's really about healing. So we're helping on a spiritual level, we're helping on a mental and physical level, you see, because I see the relationship of a doctor and a patient is a relationship of a teacher and a student. That's the relationship, because the word doctor means doctor. So yes, we're taking this all the way to, you know, to the top. We're taking this all the way. We're looking to transform individuals' life. That's what it's transformation, mental transformation, spiritual transformation. You know, holistically transform people's life.
I know you're working. You know, there's a lot of professionals over here dealing with different aspects, whether it be the cancer, whether it be the prostate cancer. So there's a lot of individuals. Are you working with individuals when you do come over?
Yes, we're definitely working with, you know, we work with Find Your Voice, you know, we work with Mariandina, Stephen, Sali, and so forth, you know, we work with yourself, you know, so yeah, we hook up with many, you know, we have to definitely send our gratitude out to all the radio stations that have embraced us and helped us on this journey here, definitely, yes.
Okay. Well, GKTV are here as a platform, especially for that. As I've said, we have, when you come to the Got Kush, the H is for the health, so we will be dealing with the health. No doubt when you come into the UK, we'll be here definitely to support that which you're doing. I think by the time you may come back next time, the platform will be up and running. People will be watching this live. We'll hopefully have some live shows up and you get involved and actually participate in the health aspect of what we're doing. You're also involved in a project, you're going to be getting involved in a project by HMP TV Productions soon, a DVD called Dai. Do look out for that. That's becoming soon. It will have this brother on there where we will let him, you know, with the first question he started talking about health, the man was going to flow in it. I had to kind of whip the mic away, because when you start talking about the man's passion, the man get passionate. So on this DVD, we're going to allow that passion to just flow. But also, you're going to get some TV programming out there and get your face out there in the media so people can see the next stage of health. Yeah, true?
That's right. You know, the next stage, you know, I can't emphasize it enough, you know, that the next stage of, we're taking, because in the 18th century, this J.C. Smutt introduced this word holism, you see, but you see, that's a term, that's terminology. We as ancients Africans, we lived holism. So this is where we're taking it back to, not just a word, not just a fad, not just an industry, we're a lifestyle. We have to live holism where it takes it back to what we, so that's where we're going.
Okay. Well, I'd like to say that the good brother who's standing behind the camera, health is his thing. Like, you know, when I say a brother's also got a passion, when I first came on board GKTV, the first thing he said to me was like, yeah, I'm on this health thing, and everyone knows Brother Dre as the health man. So I'd like to say a big shout out to the health man right there behind the camera. Big shout out to all the GKTV who just make this happen. Big shout out to Khensu Iemhotep, who is going to be over here for a few more weeks, got a few more seminars. and stuff out there. So definitely look out for that name, Khensu Iemhotep. Look out for that name. It's going to be a name you're going to have to start getting frequent with. When he comes over to the UK, look out for GKTV because he's going to be on his platform. Between now and then, we'd like to say we're out of here. This is the Minister. Don't forget you can catch me on Mondays from 9 p.m. www.supremefmlive.ning.com. And I'm saying to the person who's going to edit this, don't cut this bit this time. Yeah? You know, this is a win-win situation. Don't cut that bit this time. We need to get this out there. I'm trying to promote my show around here. Okay? Well, I'm helping all these guys out, man. You got to help me out, fam. Yeah? But this is what we do. This is GKTV. This is how we do it live. Yeah? Take care. Peace. Namaste.
Things had a significant impact on how I felt about myself, and when I came back to England at the age of 14, you know, went through all the things that, you know, you'd expect from a teenager, and I had my daughter who's here with me today, Ebony, at the age of 18, you know, and I think it's basically everything that I had personally experienced. I also recently, about a month ago, received an award which I'm very thankful for from the Nation of Islam for activism. So it's a number of things that happened to me, which would include rape in our community. It's a very sensitive issue. A lot of people don't actually talk about it, and I think I'm probably one of a few people that's come out and said, you know what, this has happened to me, and I'm not going to hold on to that shame anymore. It wasn't my fault, and it took me a long time, you know, to deal with those issues within myself, and it affected the way that I felt about myself. It affected the way that I related to men. You know, I became very frivolous, you know, in my early 20s. Obviously learned from all those experiences, and I thought, you know what, I need to do something, because we're not talking about these issues, and I'm really fed up of, you know, it being swept under the carpet. We can't do that no more. We really have to pay attention to what's going on in our homes. So it started off as Brown Girl Promotion, because I work within media. Just want to say a shout out to Mellow 9 Productions, which is Adrian Scott, who founded Mellow 9 Productions. They've given me opportunities as well to present and things like that. So basically, when I was founded by and for women of the diaspora, of the African diaspora, but the charity is for the black family in general, but with women at the forefront. It makes a change, because I think that we have to kind of reinstate that feminine principle. I think that the reason why society is off balance is because we don't respect the feminine principle. So that's why I feel that it's imperative to have the women lead and the men actually protecting the women from a distance.
You're quite right there, Sacha. Yeah? In Africa, we had a matriarchal society, not a patriarchal society like you find in Europe. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the charity that you've come to inform everyone about.
Okay. Well, basically, I was born in London, in South London. My parents are Jamaican and St. Lucian, so Caribbean heritage. And growing up in the Caribbean, my mum sent me over there from the age of 7 to 14. So basically, I had the opportunity to, you know, to really digest the culture of the Caribbean. And while I was there, the things that I experienced, for example, the shadism issue. I remember being in class one time, and the teacher paid more attention to one of the white girls, who is a minority in the country, as you know, very mixed the Caribbean is, but she paid more attention to the white child than she did me, and that really stayed with me. You know, even my gran, for example, she used to say things like, if you press your nose like this, that basically you get a straight nose, and my hair was relaxed from very early, from like about 11 years old. So those things.
There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get books. My success to you, even if you wish me the opposite. Sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is.
We are here at Natu November in May, South London in the summertime, and I'm Iemhotep and Ankh. Here we have a young lady, Sacha. Sacha Brown, is it?
Yes, indeed.
And Sacha is here to tell us about her charity for females, or for each and every one, Sacha?
Well, it's